Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all the college coaches out there. This is Coach Anthony Williams, founder and CEO of Connected Athletics. We are a new startup company based in Austin, Texas. We are focused on using a technology platform to help what we call career athletes, middle school, high school, college, and pro athletes successfully transition through those different phases of their sports journey, not just in recruiting but once they're in college to make sure they maximize their education while they're on campus, and then also helping make that successful transition onto either a professional career or into a job or a career based on their major or based on something they love doing. Before we get into tonight's podcast, I want to thank our sponsors. They've been tremendously helpful in helping us tell these athlete stories from across the country in all Title IX sports. First up, Buffalo Wild Wings, a good friend of mine, brother of mine, Brian Soltis, regional VP, also is very passionate about helping student athletes. And so Buffalo Wild Wings does a great job in supporting this podcast and helping student athletes here in Texas tell their story to college coaches. I also want to shout out my friends up in Nebraska, Go Edit Graphics. They do a great job creating graphic templates for high school and college athletic programs to use to do outbound information and communication about their program, their athletes, scheduling, or things like that. So I want to shout out to Zach and the guys at Go Edit Graphics. And then lastly, I want to thank my friends over at at 24/7, Epic 24/7. Epic is a new sports apparel company run by a friend of mine, Stefan Johnson. They're based out of Houston, and they do football uniforms. They do 7-on-7 uniforms. They do gloves and hats and caps and protective COVID-19 masks, but with a very dazzling design. So if you are interested in having some really hot jerseys or uniforms, make sure you reach out to Epic. Epic is an acronym. The name of the company stands for Every Play I Compete, and you can check them out on Twitter at Epic 24/7, which means Every Play I Compete. 24/7 year round. So I want to thank my sponsors. But let's get into why we're really here. And I'm really excited to introduce the coaches across the country to this young man. He recently competed at one of my Texas football showcases and really impressed me and my partner, Coach Anthony Wood over at Westwood. He's a quarterback. He spun the ball really well. He's got a great mature demeanor about him, and he's going to be a name you want to know about. And he's playing at one of the top programs here in the state of Texas at Cedar Park High School. Let me introduce you to Josh Pell, class of 22. As I mentioned, he's not only a quarterback, he can kick and he can punt. So I always tell kids, the more you can do, the better your recruiting is going to be. I mentioned he's at Cedar Park High School here in Central Texas. He's 6 foot, just under 170 pounds. And the part I love the most, 3.91 GPA, which is awesome. College coaches, you can see his Twitter there. Josh, I know you just got back from New Orleans from a big 7-on-7 tournament. How you doing this evening?
I'm doing good. Yes, sir. I just got back from New Orleans from a 7-on-7 tournament. It was a good time down there. Yes, sir, for sure.
Awesome. Well, we'll get into that later on. But Josh, let's just jump right in here. After hearing me talk at the showcase, most important thing that college coaches must start to do in the evaluation process is evaluate the academics. And obviously you with that 3.91 GPA is going to make a lot of college coaches smile. Tell us about the importance you put on your academics.
Yes, sir. I mean, I put that above everything. I mean, you can't go anywhere without the grade. So, I mean, we're student athletes first. The classroom comes first before all. So I just put all my effort into that and really try to get good grades and strive to have a good GPA.
Awesome. Tell us, Josh, what are some of your favorite courses, your favorite classes that drive that GPA?
I think my favorite class has always been math. I think I just see numbers real well and kind of like figure it out real quick in my head. And I think it's a nice challenge when they give you an equation in front of you and you have to go and solve it. And there's only one right answer. So I think it's a fun challenge to solve those equations.
Awesome. There's not a student athlete in the country that doesn't have a teacher or a coach or a tutor or an AP or a counselor that has played a major part in their life academically. Tell us the name of a teacher or somebody that's played a big part in your academic life, even back to elementary or middle school. Who's made an impact on you in your academics?
I would say mainly my parents. My mom and dad have always, since day one, all I can remember them saying is all A's and B's, mainly A's, and always just bring home good grades and focus on that, make that your priority. So I would say my parents got on me early about that, and it just kind of stuck with me, and understand the importance of having good grades and what they can do for you and the doors they can open. So I just really focus on that.
Awesome. That's good to hear. I know we're still kind of getting through this COVID-19 pandemic. Have you had a chance to either schedule or take an ACT or an SAT yet?
Yes, sir. I took one about 2 weeks ago. I think my results will come in here in the next week or so.
Awesome. Okay, good. We're looking forward to hearing back an
Yes,
update
sir.
from you on that. Tell us, based on your love of math and your great GPA, do you have an idea what you might want to major in when you do get to college?
Yes, sir. I want to go somewhere in the business field, maybe like entrepreneurship or business management.
Okay. So
Yes, sir.
schools that have a strong business program is probably something you're looking at, right?
Yes, sir. That'd be nice for sure.
Okay, good stuff. One of the things I always talk about is life after football. You heard me say at the showcase, football's been good to me. You're a good student. I was an okay student, but I worked hard. Football helped me get my degree and my MBA. What do you see your life looking like once football's over, whenever that is?
Definitely go to college somewhere and study for 4 years, get my bachelor's degree, and then maybe start like managing a business or try to create my own business or be like the boss of something that I do eventually. But I know I have to like work up to that, and there's levels to it. So probably start off somewhere in the business field, like managing or like behind the scenes on some business or something.
For any school's alumni that may be saying, hey, I like this kid, Josh Pell. I think we want to get him to school. Do you have a specific interest in what kind of market you might want to work in? Software, technology, legal, medicine? Do you have an idea yet? Or are you kind of waiting to see where your options are at?
Yeah, I'm still kind of weighing my options out. Maybe somewhere like in the sports business or a
Okay.
restaurant business or somewhere over there. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Okay. Good. Good overview of your academic maturity and growth, which is great to hear. Let's switch over to learning more about you personally. Tell us about your family. What do your mom and dad do? Do you have siblings? Are you the baby? Are you the oldest? Give a little more interest about the Pell family.
Yes, sir. So I'm the youngest of one. So I have a brother that's at Texas State right now going to college. He's a freshman, so it's his first year there. He's just going for school. He's majoring in business as well. So I have him going at Texas State, and then it's me, and then my mom and dad. They're both from Corpus. They've been together since high school, so they're real strong together, and they do the same job. They're both territorial sales managers or with like restaurants and food business and stuff like that.
Okay. Good to hear. Sounds like a good solid background. Was your mom and dad or your siblings athletes also?
Oh, my mom, she ran track and she could have gone somewhere for school, but she didn't end up going anywhere. But she went to UT just for school wise. And then my dad played soccer in high school, but he didn't go anywhere after that. But they were both athletes in high school.
Okay. Zach, let me put you on pause 1 second. I got somebody here at my front door. Hold on 1 second, okay?
Okay.
Boom. All right, Josh. Hey, thanks. I appreciate the patience. Hey, I wanted to ask you earlier, going back to a little bit about your education. Tell these coaches that are watching this, what type of learning style do you think you best have? Are you more of a verbal, visual, or hands-on learning style?
I definitely like being hands-on and like a visual learner. I like seeing it and like seeing an example. I think that's the best way I learn.
Is it the same in the classroom and on the football field, or is your learning style change based on the environment that you're in?
It's pretty much the same. I like being, like I said, hands-on and like seeing an example of something. But I can also take verbal instruction real well, and it'll get in my head and stick.
Okay. So, Josh, you mentioned earlier you're playing 7-on-7. You're traveling across different states on the weekends. When you do have some free time, when you're done with your academics and you're done with your workouts, what are some of your hobbies and interests outside of football?
I recently started picking up golf, just trying to work on that swing when I have some downtime. I kind of picked it up over quarantine a little bit. I'm not saying I'm no crazy golfer or anything, but I mean I'm trying to figure out a swing. And then I just staying active in the community, doing local things, playing pickup basketball with my friends, stuff like that.
Okay. Well, Josh, I've seen you online, and coaching to see your Twitter there. Tell us, social media is playing a big presence in recruiting right now. For any college coaches that have not visited your Twitter timeline, give them a short summary of what kind of message you're trying to put out there about yourself and what kind of brand you're putting out there about your recruiting.
Yes, sir. I just want to create my brand out there. I mean, I put out a lot of workouts and stuff I do. I put out a 7-on-7 clip that's about a minute long. That's pinned currently on my profile. I have my huddle tape out there. I post like some videos, or if I'm at a camp or stuff like that, just kind of mainly football related. And then there's some family stuff and a lot of stuff about Cedar Park High School as well.
Okay. Mentioning Cedar Park, your head coach and I have become friends over the years. Coach Aspic does a great job there. You guys are perennial, making a great run at state every year. Tell these coaches who are listening about the type of program that you're in, and how much of an impact Coach Aspic is being, not just teaching you how to be a better football player, but a better person on and off the field.
Yes, sir. It's a great family over there. It's a great tradition. I mean, there's a lot of people that came before us that really set the foundation of Cedar Park High School and the football community over there. And Coach Abstick's really been great. He's always been there, right next to your side, always trying to help you. Then he just really wants the best for you at the end of the day. And all the coaches are like that too. It really shows with all the coaches how much they care about you, and like the brotherhood and the tradition over there is just always stays.
Yeah. We know you guys had a great season. I was at the state championship. I know that, kids like Josh Cameron and Ryder Hernandez are going to be moving on. What's the competition going to look like for you as you try and you nail that QB1 spot?
Yes, sir. I am the QB1 this year. I do have some competition, but yes, sir. That's going to be my spot this year.
Okay. I like it. Okay. Tell me
Yes.
a couple of just layup questions here. What's your all-time favorite sports movie?
Oof, that's a good one. I would say Remember the Titans. That was a good one. I remember watching that with my dad when I was real young.
Yeah, great choice. One of my favorites also. Tell us when it's your time to choose what the dinners with the families having for dinner. What's your favorite food?
Oof, that's a tough one. There's a lot of great food. I would say maybe just a old fashioned cheeseburger or something, a pizza maybe. I'd probably go with the cheeseburger for sure. Yeah.
Okay. I'm pretty sure you watch a lot of the movies here recently with Marvel and Justice League. If you had a chance to be any superhero, which one would you be and why?
I think I would be Hulk. I've always kind of said that Hulk. He keeps his composure and he's so calm until something just sets him off, and then he can just go absolute crazy and a flip
I
of a
like
switch.
I remember the last movie he said, "Yeah, I have it under control." How do you have it under control? Well, because I'm always mad. So I
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
yeah. Tell us, Josh, getting back to kind of recruiting a little bit, who's going to be involved in helping you make the decision of what school you'll eventually commit to?
Me and my family have to make that decision, and also I have to get some advice from like my coaches and see what their input is. But ultimately, it'd be down to me and my family, and what's best for me.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. Makes complete sense. Um, tell me this. You guys play in front of packed stadiums. This last year with COVID, it was tough, obviously with limited attendance. But back in 2019, there's a lot of people packing the stands of your games. But tell us what you're doing to give back to the Cedar Park community. You involved in your church. You involved in some nonprofits, feeding the hungry. What are you doing to give back to those fans?
Yeah, we're out there. We're always in the community out there doing something. I mean, we do. I'm in the National Honor Society, and we kind of go around to food banks, local food banks, and donate and just get some community hours and stuff like that from the school.
Okay, good stuff.
Yes, sir.
And then, Josh, not to put pressure on you, but do you have a favorite quote that motivates or inspires you as a student athlete? And if you do, what is it?
I would say this quote I have in front of my desk frame. It just says, "Nobody cares. Work harder."
It's one of my favorite ones too. Lamar Jackson. Nobody cares. Work harder. And
Yeah.
in today's era, it is
Yes,
so
sir.
true. And in life, as you know, life, work, business, nobody likes the guy who makes excuses. Just find a way to get the job
Right.
done. So that's a great
Yes, sir.
quote.
Find a way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Tell me, you've been, what other sports have you played besides football in your athletic career?
So I grew up my whole life playing soccer and football. My dad and my brother were real into soccer. I mentioned earlier my dad played in high school, so I was a big soccer guy. I was in a select club until about seventh grade when I had to make a decision between football and soccer because it was too much. But I would say soccer was probably my first love, and then in seventh grade I was really passionate about being a quarterback and wanting to lead a football team. So I went with that decision. So that's also how I'm able to like kick and punt. It just naturally from soccer. I mean, I practice it, but not like nearly as much. It's just naturally from soccer.
Okay. Well, tell me this. I was kind of a leading question. I love these responses from other athletes. What is your favorite all-time sports memory of yourself? Whether it be in the soccer field when you were young, or maybe in football, maybe this past season or before. But what's your favorite memory? When do you look back at something and go, "Yeah, I did that." Maybe it was a winning goal, or maybe it was a touchdown pass. What's your favorite memory of yourself as a player?
I would say recently, probably this last year when I had this run against San Antonio Veterans Memorial. It was a read option. I pulled it and I was going to the right and I kind of switched fields, made it like 4 or 5 guys miss and then finished in the end zone. I think that was my most memorable moment from this most recent year.
Okay, I like that memory, big time.
Sure.
My favorite question out of all of them, I know there's a lot of them, but what's your why, Josh? Why do you play the sport of football? Why do you do it, and what do you hope to get out of it?
I play this football for the competitive nature of the sport. I love going out there on the football field with my brothers and competing, going my guys versus your guys, and let's just do it. Like, let's run it. Let's see who's better. Let's see who wins. Let's see who wins their one-on-one matchups. I'm all about competition and coming first in everything that I do. So I think that's probably the main role of what's my why.
Okay, I like it. And it's a great transition as we switch into the recruiting portion as we finish up here. And you mentioned your why, you mentioned competition. Every college coach I talk to across the country loves an athlete, a high school prospect that has a passion to compete. Tell these coaches in
Yes,
a
sir.
little bit about your competitive nature.
Everything I do, I just want to come first. I want to compete. I want to I never just let up and give someone anything. I always want to compete. I always want to be that guy. And I never just, and I compete honestly for myself, but mainly for my teammates. So I can represent them and represent the brand that I'm playing for, and just to compete for my teammates.
Great. You mentioned your teammates, which is another great transition to my next question. What makes you a great teammate? How would your teammates describe you as a teammate?
I would say a leader on and off the field. I mean, I think the best way of being a leader is just by action. Like, you lead by, nothing's better than leading by action. I mean, you can talk all this stuff, but if your actions don't back it up, then I mean, it's pointless. Like, just being at every workout, showing up early, leaving late, like encouraging your teammates to get up there with you, and just encouraging my teammates, always lifting them up, never trying to put them down. They just always trying to like encourage and be the best guy I can for my teammates.
Like it. Great response. Tell me, you're going into your senior year here. What would you categorize as your strengths as a player right now, and what are some of the things you're working on going into the fall season?
I would say my strengths right now is being able to like pre-snap, read the defense, kind of figure out where I'm going in my progressions, and throwing the ball in the pocket as well as getting out of the pocket and running. I am a dual threat quarterback, so I think that is a big part of my game as well. Getting out of the pocket, making a read option, making a couple guys miss, and taking it to the house on my legs as well as I can sit back there in the pocket and throw.
Okay.
And I feel like something that I could work on this upcoming year is just making like quick decisions, like 1, 2, and then just kind of figuring out that.
Yeah. Josh, would you consider yourself a film guy? Do you love studying film of your opponents, getting ready each week?
Yes, sir. I think that's where you can really distance yourself from your opponent if you know how they're going to line up, what they're going to do when they align to this formation, to that formation. What happens when the safety's cheating 2 yards inside the hash and not playing on the hash like he has been. Like, all that little stuff matters, and it helps you figure out the game and make it a little faster for yourself.
Yeah. Josh, I just talking with some NFL guys. I did a camp this weekend out in Kansas City and St. Louis, and talking with some former NFL player friends of mine. And we talked about trust. And that at the end of the day, you can be, tall, big, strong, fast, quick, have great stats. But if a coach doesn't trust you to execute in the field, you'll never make it on the field of play. Tell us about how the importance of trust, having you trust your teammates trust you, and more importantly, having your coaches trust you to make plays to help the team win. Talk to us about how important trust is to you as a quarterback.
Yes, sir. Trust plays a major role. I mean, your coaches have to trust you to get the play and make sure everyone's set up right. I mean, when you're on the field, I mean, you're the field general. You got to make sure everyone's aligned up, and your coaches got to have that trust in you to be able to do that, as well as your teammates have to trust that I'm gonna get them the ball where it needs to be right on time, and they trust their route, and trust plays a major role for sure.
Great job, and a great response. Tell me, I always tell coaches and players there are two types of athletes. One that loves to play the game on Friday night, and the other bucket is those that love to practice and prepare and then play the game on Friday night. Which bucket are you in?
I'm definitely the one that practices and prepares and then loves to play the game on Friday night. I think the week leading up until Friday night, the 4 or 5 practices we have is the most crucial part. And just staying locked in, making every rep a game rep, and just really seeing the field during practice so it can help you on the game.
Okay, good stuff. Josh, is there a certain player, and it could be a quarterback or it could be somebody else, it could be a soccer player for all I know, but is there a certain player that you pattern your game off of? And who is that?
I really like Aaron Rodgers and the way he spins the ball, but I also like Patrick Mahomes and just the creativity he brings and like the elusiveness and in the pocket, the way he can just escape and make it happen. Like he just gets the job done and makes it happen. And I think that's really special and something I try to mimic from Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. Josh, tell me, playing the quarterback position is a tough one. You've probably heard this before in football. Quarterbacks get too much credit when the team wins and too much fault when the team loses. How do you, as a quarterback, handle the roller coaster ups and downs of the position?
Yes, sir. It's definitely a challenge. I mean, you got to take your highs and the lows. I mean, just the same. I mean, when you have a good game and you're getting good positive credit and feedback, I mean, you obviously want to embrace that, but you also want to embrace when you didn't do so well and you are getting criticism and maybe why you're getting criticism to fix it. But you don't want to look at the criticism too much because I mean, you don't want to let it get to you. But it's definitely something to acknowledge.
Okay. Josh, probably one of the overused terms in sports and development is mental toughness. Sometimes it's harder to define, but you know it when you see it. How do you define mental toughness?
I think mental toughness is just the way you respond when something bad happens. It's when you overcome adversity and like during a game or during a play, whenever it may be, you have to be mentally tough to come back the next play and forget the past play, have a short-term memory and just go out there and execute.
Perfect. No, that's a great response. Another big part of being a successful student athlete in varsity and on to college is overcoming some type of adversity. Tell us about a time in your life, whether it be personal or dealing with athletics, where you had to overcome some type of adversity.
I would say freshman year during football season, it was our second to last game and we were up 14-0 against Pflugerville. And I was going through a read option and I made a jump cut on a linebacker and I tore my ACL and my meniscus. And it was non-contact. And I tore my ACL, my meniscus, and that was definitely like a setback. And that was like the first time I was like, well, I gotta like stay strong, stay mentally tough through this process. I mean, it is a process. It's about 8 months to a year until you like fully feel yourself back. And then after that year, you just start to get better and get back to where you were and stronger. But I feel way stronger now in both my legs and both my knees, or in my right leg and my right knee. I just feel like I'm at my strongest right now. I've overcame that setback, and it's just going to set me up for something greater in the future.
Well, it's a tough story, and me as a football player, I've had both my knees and both my hips worked on my shoulders. Anybody who thinks they're going to play this game and not ever get injured is wrong and has false, expectations about the game. I think you going through this at a young age is going to help you down the road when you do get to college and maybe play in the NFL, because over being injured and overcoming injuries is a part of being an elite athlete. So it's good that you learned that
Right.
young have already got the mindset of how to overcome that. As we finish up here, we'll go through. I want to talk about recruiting a little bit. I want you to finish with your elevator pitch telling these coaches. But now the coaches know about you academically, they've heard about you personally, they know a little bit more about you as a player. Tell us, recruiting wise, what are some of the schools you're looking at? Who are you interested in? Would you like to hear from? And tell us a little bit about your overall recruiting experience.
Yes, sir. I've had a couple of colleges reach out, UT Permian Basin, McMurray, Westland, and up in Pennsylvania. But yes, sir. I'm really accepting anything that comes. I'd like to get in contact with maybe University Incarnate Word. I know that's a real nice school that I'm interested in.
Okay. Well, I
Yes,
happen
sir.
to know some guys down there, and I can definitely put in a word for you down there. I think you'd be a good fit there
Yes,
and
sir.
a whole lot of other places also. I think you know in the recruiting process that it's all about not getting caught up in the process of stars and all that kind of stuff. Just keep working on being the best player you can be, and if you're good enough, somebody will find you. And I think you really open a lot of eyes at the showcase and through your 7-on-7 team. And I know you'll do big things as part of that Cedar Park program, just like Ryder and many other players who have come out of that program have done. Hey, let's finish up here. Coaches have learned a lot about you, Josh, here in the last 30 minutes, but let's finish up with the elevator pitch. In business, elevator pitch is when you're in front of an investor or you're in front of a board member and you've got 30 seconds in an elevator with them. Tell these coaches why they should recruit you and what you're going to bring to their program.
Yes, sir. I'm a real smart quarterback. I can do it through the air, through the ground, or with my legs. I'm 6'1". I'm 6 foot 6'1", still got growing. I'm up about 15 pounds right now. I'm a real hard worker. And I can also punt. I can kick. I can do just about anything you need me to do on that football field. And I'm even better off the field and in the classroom.
Good stuff. Well, Josh, I'm excited for you, man. We'll probably do a follow up with you heading into the season here, but we'll get this information in front of coaches. I would definitely ask you to do the same thing. I think this is some really good content for these coaches to know who you are outside of your huddle video and outside of your transcript. So, a great job in the interview tonight. I think all your responses were mature, they were succinct, they were consistent. I'm rooting for you. If you ever need anything as far as recruiting or development or whatever, please consider me and Coach Wood a resource. Reach out to us and we'll help you any way you can. Okay, man. Looking forward to seeing you this season.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. It was a great opportunity coming on your podcast. I really enjoyed it. So thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks. Have a great night.
Sir, you too.
All right. Bye.